Hello everyone and welcome to ButteredGaming. I'm your host, ButteredToast III, and today you're coming to me for a deck showcase for Magic the Gathering. I have no idea what to call this deck. I just call it my Koth deck because it did start as a Koth of the Hammer deck, and as you can see, we do have this little emblem here that does not actually go in the deck. You just have it off to the side. It came with the Koth dual deck, Koth versus Venser. So there's that. I don't know, so this is it. It's mono red, and it's a little hard to classify because it is semi-ramp. I consider it semi-ramp. It is semi-mana ramp, I guess I should say, not just ramp. It focuses, the creatures are mostly focused on dragons, so could be considered a dragon deck, I guess. So it is focused on really big creatures, and mostly 6 mana cost creatures. So there's that, and that's why I have that semi-ramp in there. And the ramp is all done through artifacts, so there's that. And it has a bunch of burn cards in it, so could be considered burn. It's just a little weird. So there's 25 red mana that I just have in here. As you can see, it's kind of out of focus, but I'll fix it in a second. There you go. Nope, didn't work. Why is it so out of focus? What is going on? There's kind of better. There we go. Alright, so kind of. So here's Koth of the Hammer. As you can see, he is nice and foil because he did come with the. This is the dual deck. Good lord, I'm just messing with the camera now. So it's a 4 mana drop, and his +1 is to untap a target mountain. It becomes a 4/4 red elemental creature until end of turn. It's still land. His -2 is to add a mana to your mana pool for each mountain mana to your mana pool for each mountain you control. And then you, the -5 is where you get the emblem with the mountains you control. Have tap, and this land deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So that's a pretty nice emblem to get. I do like that because if you just have extra mana, you can go ahead and just pay it to just do some damage, I guess. So next up comes our ramp, I guess, and as you can see, it is all mana because I'm not really sure what else you can do for red ramp. There we go. So the first one we have is we got 4 Pilgrim's Eyes. So these are pretty nice because they are just they're a 3 mana drop, which isn't really too hard to get for this deck. And then it's only a 1/1, but it's flying, so you can use it to block something once. And when it enters the battlefield, you search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. So that's the reason I have it in there, is because of the sort of ramp it gives. Next up, we've got 3 Wayfarer's Bauble. Bauble, yeah. So this is only a 1 mana drop, but you can go ahead and pay 2 once it's on the field to tap and sacrifice it, and search your library for a basic land card and put it on the play tapped, and then you get to shuffle the library. So it's pretty nice as well because you get another land on the battlefield tapped. So just for some ramp, you know. Then we've got 1 Armillary Sphere, which is a 2 mana drop to put on the field. So it's like a Wayfarer's Bauble, just a little bit more expensive because you can search for up to 2 basic lands, reveal them, put them into your hand. It's not on the battlefield, but then you can shuffle. So it's a 2 on the field to tap and sacrifice it as well as the Wayfarer's Bauble. And then we've got this nice Journeyer's Kite, which is a 2 mana drop to put on the field, and then you can pay 3 to tap and search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Nice thing about this one is that you don't have to sacrifice it, so you can keep using it as long as you don't have anything else to use, and it's on the field. So now we can start into our creatures. We're just going to start with some, like, blocking, I guess. So these all have Defender on them. We've got 2 of these Wall of Fires. Now the nice thing about the Wall of Fires, they are only a 3 mana drop and they're 0/5, but you can pay 1 mountain for a +1/+0 until end of turn. So it's pretty nice. If someone attacks you, you can, if you have the mana, pump it up to kill it. So Fire Breathing, I believe, is what we refer to that ability. So this is an Aether Membrane. It's a really nice card as well. And this came with the dual deck. And it's a 3 mana drop for a defender, 0/5, and with reach, which is really nice because it's reach and you can block flying things. And then the nice thing about it is whenever it blocks a creature, return that creature to its owner's hand at the end of combat. So it's still at the end of combat, which isn't that spectacular, but it is still pretty good for just like warning people off of trying to attack you because you can block their stuff and return it to their hand. So the next up we've got, I'm going to show you the creatures that aren't dragons, which are these 4 right here. So first up we've got this Geyser Glider, which is a 5 mana drop for 4/4, but the reason I kind of have it in here is because of the landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, it gains flying. I'm probably going to take this out pretty soon in exchange for something because it's not super great, and it's just because something good to get rid of for something else. So it's a decent card though. So I put this Ripscale Predator in pretty recently. It's a 6 mana drop for a 6/5, and the nice thing about it is that Ripscale Predator can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, which is really nice, just because it, you know, it gives it a little bit of leeway when it's coming through. You're just like, oh, I can't block it, darn, because I only have 1 creature on the battlefield. That's, you know, just gives it some leeway. I just decided to put it in, see how it does. So then we've got an Earth Servant, which is a 6 mana drop, but the nice thing about Earth Servant, it's a 4/4 to begin with, and then it gets +0/+1 for each mountain you control. So in this deck, it's immediately a 4/10, because there's no other types of mana in this deck. So plus all that semi-ramp stuff that I have in here, just helps to pump it up pretty fast just by itself. So it's really good for blocking, and it's got a pretty decent power too. So 4 power is not too bad. So then we've got this guy. He's pretty nice. He's a Hamletback Goliath. Now he's a little bit expensive. He's a 7 mana drop, but he's a 6/6 to start. And then whenever another creature enters the battlefield, so on your side or the opponent's side, you can put X +1/+1 counters on Hamletback Goliath, where X is that creature's power. So this guy gets really strong, really fast, and it's pretty much not going to die unless you can just kill it with something like a murder or something. So that's a pretty nice card. So now we can go through and look at the dragons we got in the deck. And surprisingly, I don't have very many dragons in here. I don't know if I have it all. But we've got 5 dragons, which is a little bit more than the non-dragon creature types. And we'll go ahead and look at them. So the first one we got here is a Hellkite Tyrant. Now this is pretty recent, and it hasn't really helped out too much, but it is a flying trample 6/5 for a 6 mana drop, so it's pretty decent just by itself. And then the reason I got it in here is just in case I'm fighting some kind of artifact deck, which isn't really too prominent recently, but if someone has an older deck, you know. So whenever a Hellkite Tyrant deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifact that that player controls. So if it's an artifact deck, you get a bunch of them. Otherwise, if it's even not an artifact deck, they might have an artifact that you kind of don't really want to get rid of, so it might just help out a little bit there. You never know. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. So maybe I should have it in an artifact deck. I don't know, but I'm just going to keep it in here because it's a dragon and it'll help me out eventually. So next we got a Mordant Dragon, which is really nice. It's a 6 mana drop as well for a 5/5 flying, and it has the fire breathing thing going on. So you can pay 2 mana to give it +1/+0 until end of turn, which is another reason to get all that ramp in this deck, is because a lot of the cards in this deck have like the fire breathing kind of thing going on. So next is a Moonveil Dragon, which just proves my point. It's also a 6 mana drop for a 5/5 flying. But then you can pay 1 mana to each creature you control get +1/+0 until end of turn, which is just pretty amazing if you can get this on the field with a couple other creatures. For example, you can get like a Mordant Dragon or the Hellkite Tyrant or even the Earth Servant. You can give the Earth Servant a little bit more power. So next we've got a nice Flameblast Dragon, which is a 6 mana drop as well for another 5/5 flying. Seems to be kind of a theme going on. So anyway, whenever it attacks, you may pay X plus 1 mountain. If you do, it deals X damage to target creature or player, which is really nice just for destroying like creatures if you don't want it to be there. And if you don't want it to be blocking you, you can just destroy it. Or if there's no other creatures, you can just increase its firepower. So like if you paid another, say example, you have 6 mana total. So next turn, if I attack with it, I can pay all 6 of that and deal 5 extra damage to him. So that's immediately 10 damage from this creature. Pretty nice stuff. So now I've got this a little bit of a beat up copy of this Hellkite Tyrant. Hellkite Charger, not Hellkite Tyrant. I don't know what I'm talking about. This isn't focusing very well. Come on. You can do it. There it goes. So this is a 6 mana drop as well for another 5/5 flying, but this one does have haste, so it's a little bit better. But the nice thing about this is whenever it attacks, you may pay another 7 mana, and if you do, untap all attacking creatures, and after this phase you get an additional combat phase, so that's pretty nice. So you can swing first for to try to get rid of a bunch of their creatures, as long as your creatures aren't going to be dying, and if they're just open, you can deal, with just this creature, you can deal 10 damage in 1 turn. So example, if I had the Flameblast Dragon as well, that's another 5 damage. If I had the Moonveil, that's another 5. You know, it's just pretty awesome. So it's a pretty decent card. And it's a dragon, so it fits well. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to look at all the burn I've kind of got in this deck as well. It's a little bit, this burn is a little bit strange. I don't know. I kind of went with a lot of stuff saying like dust damage equal to the number of mountains you control because of the ramp I've got going on. So first we're going to look at a pretty recent acquisition. It's a Return to Ravnica, so it's not that recent, but it's an Annihilating Fire, so it's a 3-drop for 3 damage to target creature or player. If a creature dealt damage this way it would die this turn, you get to exile it. So it's pretty decent. It's only 3 damage, but if you get it early, it's pretty decent. Might take that card out too, you never know. So we've got this Volcanic Geyser, which is 2 mana and then X, and it deals X damage to target creature or player. So that's pretty nice with the ramp as well, because if you have a bunch of mana, for example 6, you can just deal 4 damage to something right off the bat, or to the player. So right there, that's 4 damage. Pretty decent. So if you have more than that with the ramp and stuff, you know, it just goes on. So this is not really burn, but I kind of have it in this category anyway. It's an enchantment called Curse of the Pierced Heart. And you can pay 2 to enchant a player, your opponent, and at the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, Curse of the Pierced Heart deals 1 damage to that player. So it's not really burn, but you know, it's dealing damage every upkeep, so it's pretty nice. So then we've got the mother of all burn cards here, which is a Red Sun Zenith, and you can pay X and a mountain to deal X damage to target creature or player, and if a creature dealt damage this way, we put it in the graveyard this turn, exile it, so it's pretty nice too. And then you get to shuffle this into its owner's library once you use it, so it's coming back, hopefully. I don't really get it too often, twice in a game, but, you know, still helpful. And then you have a Spitting Earth here, which is a 10th edition card. It's pretty old. Ooh. And it deals 2 damage for damage equal to the number of mountains you control to target just a creature. It's just a creature this time, but still, it's good for getting rid of creatures. So then we've got another pretty much the exact same thing. It's a Seismic Strike. So you can pay 3 mana to basically do the exact same thing as the last one I had there. I can't remember what the name of it was. Wow, pitiful. So then we've got a pretty nice burn card as well. It's pretty much burn. It's a Cerebral Eruption. So it's a rare. It's a 4 mana drop for the target opponent revealing the top card of his or her library. They do not discard it, just so you all know. And Cerebral Eruption deals damage equal to revealed cards' converted mana cost to that player and each creature he or she controls. That's really nice. I get pretty lucky with this a lot of the time. Also, if it's a land card, you return it to its owner's hand. So I get pretty lucky with this. I get to destroy a bunch of creatures with this a lot of the time. Then we've got a Explosive Impact, which is a 6 mana drop for 5 damage to target creature or player. So that's pretty nice too, because you can just deal 5 damage to creature if you don't like it there, or if you really wanted to, if it's going to be decisive to the game, you can just hit him with 5 damage and just be done with it. Hit the opponent, I should say. So then we've got this last burn card here, which is a Chandra's Outrage, which is a 4 mana drop for 4 damage to target creature and 2 damage to that creature's controller. So this is pretty nice too, because you can take out a creature pretty easily with 4 damage, and then just as a bonus you get another extra 2 damage right to the opponent. So that's pretty nice too. So now we've got just a bunch of random cards that don't really, I don't know, just don't really have a theme going, I guess. We've got just these Claws of Hellkite, which is a pretty nice 3 mana drop for enchant creature, and it gets +1/+0 for each mountain you control and has first strike. So that's really nice because of the ramp. They get pretty dang strong. For example, if I have one of those dragons on the field and I have 6 mana, they are suddenly an 11/5 creature with first strike. So that's pretty amazing just by itself. And then if you have like Moonveil or something, you can pump it up even more. So it's pretty awesome. So then we've got this just random, this is an M14 card. We've got this random card, it's Awaken the Ancient, which is a 4 mana drop for enchanting a mountain, and it's a 7/7 red giant creature with haste, so it's pretty dang good. It's still a land as well, so you can tap it and use it as mana, but it's really nice because it's decently early, and you just get a 7/7 red giant with haste on the battlefield. It's pretty awesome. You never know. I've used it to good effect once or twice. Then we've got this Seismic Stomp. I really have no idea why I have this card in this deck. Mostly because a lot of the creatures in this deck are flying, I guess, and it's a 2-drop to make creatures without flying not be able to block. Nope, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. I have no idea why I have this card in here. I'm going to take that out, for sure. Alright, so that's going to be the end of this video. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope got you interested in this deck a little bit. I encourage all feedback that I can get in the description. And thank you very much for watching, and come again next time.